Hi everyone, welcome to Story with me. There is a purpose not to use animation, the stories which I read. That is to encourage young minds to stimulate their imaginary skills. Let's begin and enjoy with me. A time for reform. Gautama Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha, son of the king and queen of Kapilavastu, Shuddhodana and Maya Devi around 566 BC. The kingdom was located on the borders of present day Nepal. Siddhartha or Gautama, as he was also known, was born into the Kshatriya caste of the Shakya clan. Soon after his birth, an astrologer predicted that the boy was destined to live the life of sage. He would eventually give up his right to the throne and all worldly pleasures. The parents of the boy were shattered. They decided to prevent him from being exposed to life outside the palace and kept a close watch on him. Thus, young Siddhartha never left the palace and saw nothing more than the luxuries of the palace. His parents hoped that he would get so used to such a rich lifestyle that he would never give it up. When he was 16, his father got him married to Yashodhara, the beautiful daughter of a nobleman. The king was gleeful that his son now had one more worldly attachment that he would not shirk. The older Siddhartha grew, the more curious he became. One day he summoned his charioteer and demanded that he be taken on a tour of the city. The first person they came across was an old man, weak and frail. By the side of the road, Siddhartha was intrigued by him and was told that with old age comes weakness and ill health. The next person they came across was a sick man in great pain. Siddhartha learned that the man was not immune from diseases. Then they saw a dead body being carried to the cremation ground. The young prince was told that everyone would die one day and leave the world. Finally, Siddhartha saw a sage, serene and calm. He heard that such holy men renounced their worldly possessions and desires. Siddhartha was deeply troubled by his first experience of the outside world. Questions about life and death plagued him constantly. As the days passed, he became more and more miserable. One day, he decided that to learn the answers to his questions, he would have to leave his luxurious life. He left the palace that night while his wife and son slept. Then he was only 29 years old. Siddhartha wandered far, trying different ways to find the path to truth. Finally, he reached the city of Bodh Gaya and started to meditate under a large fig tree near the Mahabodhi temple, determined not to rise until fully enlightened. After 49 days of meditation, at the age of 35, he attained enlightenment. Gautama, from then on, was known as the Buddha or Awakened One. Buddha is also sometimes translated as the Enlightened One. He was named after the Bodhi tree under which he meditated. It is said that the tree has been destroyed time and again by man and nature, but it continues to spring up again without fail. The tree is worshipped as a sign of Buddha's presence. The Enlightened One shared his knowledge with 5 sannyasis who meditated near him. His first sermon on the turning wheel of Dharma was held at the Deer Garden. After that, he traveled all over the country, sharing the knowledge with the common people in the simplest language so that they would understand. He started to travel around teaching the key principles of Buddhism. These were called Noble Truths. The world is full of suffering and misery. Desire is the main reason for this suffering and misery. Suffering and misery can be removed by removing desire. Desire can be overcome by following the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path included right views, right thoughts, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right efforts, right mindfulness, and right meditation. Buddha taught every man can control his own fate or destiny, and it is not in the hands of God. He criticized Vedic customs and rituals and demanded to know why Brahmins were considered superior. Buddha preached non-violence, peace, and harmony. He believed that people should treat each other with compassion, forgiveness, and tolerance. He encouraged his followers to lead a balanced life, one that was neither severe nor luxurious. He had a large number of followers, especially in Magadha, Kosala, and the neighboring areas. Whenever he traveled, he would be dressed in his saffron robes and would take along only his begging bowl and stick. Buddha was established a community of monks called Sangha. With them, he traveled far and wide, spreading his teachings and performing many miracles. In Sravasti, there is a story that tells how, on his throwing down the seed of a mango, a great mango tree instantly arose. Another story tells how the Buddha stood in the air, the lower part of his body engulfed in flames, with 500 jets of water streaming from the top of his body. Buddhism has now spread not only in India but abroad as well. Burma, China, Japan, and several other southeastern countries follow this religion ardently. Several monuments in India are tributes to Buddhism. These include temples and universities at Sanchi, Bharut, Amravati, Nagarjunakonda, and others. The famous Buddhist cave temples Ajanta, Ellora, Kanheri, and Karla are in Maharashtra in western India. In 483 BC, the beloved monk passed away. Though he lived centuries ago, his birthday is still celebrated as Buddha Jayanti in India. The Bodhi tree is still worshipped as the symbol of enlightenment. Thanks for listening. A time for reform. Two reformers who changed the way of thinking, Gautama Buddha and Mahavira. And today's story with me is Lord Mahavira. Lord Mahavira was born Prince Vardhamana to King Siddhartha and Queen Trishala of Ishwaku dynasty. He was born in 599 BC on the 13th day of the rising moon during the month of Chaitra. When Queen Trishala was pregnant with Vardhamana, she had the 14 dreams depicted in Jain scriptures indicating that her unborn child was destined to greatness. His parents were followers of the Jain ascetic Parashvanatha. As a child, Vardhamana was quiet but brave. He displayed acts of great courage several times during difficult situations. Being a prince, he was brought up amidst much luxury, yet nothing affected him. He led a very simple life, following his parents' instructions. He married Princess Yashoda at a very young age, and the couple had a daughter, Priyadarshana. The Digambara sect of Jainism believes that Vardhamana refused to get married when his parents insisted. When Vardhamana was 28, his parents passed away and his elder brother Nandivardhana succeeded their father. Vardhamana craved freedom from the worldly attachments and sought his brother's permission to renounce his royal life. His brother tried to dissuade him from his resolve, but Vardhamana was adamant, practicing fast and meditation at home. At 30 years of age, he finally abandoned his home and embraced the ascetic life of a monk on the 10th day of Margasira. He gave away his possessions, but on a single piece of cloth and uttered, Namo Siddhanam, I bow down to the liberated souls, and left all his worldly attachments behind. Mahavira spent the next 12 and a half years pursuing a life of hard penance to drive away his basic attachments. He practiced complete silence and rigorous meditation to conquer his basic desires. He assumed a calm and peaceful life and sought to overcome emotions like anger. He discarded his clothes and put himself through immense hardships. He practiced a philosophy of non-violence against all living beings. He moved from place to place, often observing fast and sleeping for only 3 hours each day. During his 12 years of penance, he traveled through Bihar, Western and North Bengal, parts of Orissa and Uttar Pradesh. After experiencing 12 years of hard penance, a tired Mahavira is said to have fallen asleep for a few moments. When he experienced a series of 10 strange dreams, these dreams and their significance have been explained in Jain scriptures. One is defeating a lion, signifies destruction of moha or worldly attachment. Second, a bird with white feathers following him, signifies attainment of purity of mind. Third, a bird with multicolored feathers signifies attainment and propagation of multifaceted knowledge. Fourth, two gem strings appear in front, symbolizes preaching a dual religion and amalgamation of principles from a monk's life and duties of a common man. Fifth, a herd of white cows symbolizes a group of devoted followers who will serve. Sixth, a pond with open lotuses symbolizes presence of celestial spirits who will propagate the cause. Seventh, crossed waxy ocean swimming symbolizes freedom from the cycles of death and rebirths. Eighth, sun rays spreading in all directions symbolizes attainment of Kevala Jnana, omniscience. Ninth, enriching the mountain with your bluish intestines symbolizes the universe will be privy to the knowledge. 10th, sitting on a throne placed on summit of the Mount Meru symbolizes people revering the knowledge being taught and placing Mahavir in a place of respect. On the 10th day of the rising moon during the month of Vaishak, 557 BC, Mahavira sat under a sal tree on the banks of river Rijuvaluka and attained the Kevala Jnana or omniscience. He finally experienced perfect perception, perfect knowledge, perfect conduct, unlimited energy, and unobstructed bliss. He became a Jina, the one who is victorious over attachment. Lord Mahavira was the 24th and last Jain Tirthankara according to the Jain philosophy. A Tirthankara is an enlightened soul who is born as human being and attains perfection through intense meditation. For a Jain, Lord Mahavira is no less than God and his philosophy is like the Bible. Mahavira devoted his life towards spreading his Keval Jnana among people and gave discourses in local languages as opposed to in elite Sanskrit. His final discourse was at Pavapuri, which lasted for 48 hours. He attained moksha shortly after his final discourse, finally liberated from the cycle of life, death, and rebirth during 527 BC at the age of 72. Thanks for listening the story with me. To listen more stories with me, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified for my every new upload. Till we meet with my next story, until then, bye-bye.